Everyone, I hope you all are fine and keeping yourself healthy. So whatever I have discussed yesterday and the topic after that, and I told last class that I will give you again a revision of the topic where I left, that is in terms of biodiversity measurement part. So let us see into this. Right, biodiversity measurement part, what I've written on the board. Now what we will do here, richness, evenness, alpha diversity, beta diversity, gamma diversity. We will get to understand these terms with respect to examples, and questions, Q&A, question and answer style by which you will be able to understand the meaning of each of the term. So I am now coming to here. Let's look at here. I am giving you first here, let's say example. Example 1. Habitat 1 and habitat 2. Right? And now I am writing here the species name there. You have names of the species here. Tiger, rhino, and let's say here a deer. Right? And in this context here you have 5, 10, 85. Here you have 35, 35, 30. Total number you have 100 and you have 100. Alright? This is example. Now your objective question. So your example 1, let me ask a question here. Question number 1. Consider the given example 1 to answer following questions. Now question number 1, right, question number 1. Now I am giving you a question here. Species richness in habitat 1 is A 3, B 2, C 1 and D 0. This is the first question. I'll get all your answer there. Question number 2. Species richness in habitat 1 and 2, in habitat 1 and habitat 2 is A 1 is higher than 2, B 2 is higher than 1, C 1 is equal to 2, and D cannot be determined. Now question number 3, species evenness. Please write this question also there. In habitat 1 and habitat 2 is A 1 equal to 2, B 2 is greater than 1, C 1 is greater than 2, D cannot be determined. Please write this question. Wherever you have left your notes, please write this. Please copy this whiteboard. Here I have written cannot be determined. First you copy the question with the example. Then I'll ask you answer one by one. We'll see the answer here. Clear here? I have given you example number 1. Tiger, rhino, deer. Habitat 1, habitat 2. Habitat 1, 5, 10, 85. Total number 100. Let's say total 100. Habitat 2, 35, 35, 30. Total number 100. Now your questions are like that. Number 1, species richness in habitat 1 is A 3, B 2, C 1, D 0. Question number 2, species richness in habitat 1 and habitat 2 is A, habitat 1 is greater than 2, habitat B is 2 is greater than 1, C is 1 equal to 2, D cannot be determined. Question number 3, species evenness in habitat 1 and habitat 2 is A 1 equal to 2, both habitats same, B 2 greater than 1, habitat 2 greater than first, C habitat 1 is greater than 2, 1 greater than 2, and D cannot be determined. Wherever you have written in the last class, wherever you have written the question, that the content, last class with the flow chart, I have given you species richness, evenness, the definition part, and then I have given you alpha, beta, gamma, right? And I told you that I will again return back to the concept. So today the first part of the class. So I am coming to the concept with the help of example and the questions. So please copy this what I have written on the whiteboard, and then I'll get answer from your side. So I'm just moving away from the board. Please write it down and please give your answer. You have to provide me answer by saying Q1 ABCD, Q2 ABCD, Q3 ABCD. Did you get my point? You have to give the answer Q1 ABCD, whatever answer. This way you have to give in your response chat. So I'm going to see your response chat. Let me see how many of you get correct answer. And please copy what I've given on the whiteboard. Okay. I'm seeing your responses. I'm seeing your responses. But again, please copy the whiteboard also there. Okay, I'm seeing your answer. I'm able to see your answer. So Neelam, Jitendra, Neha, Pamir, then Poonam, Pooja Kaur, Lakshya, Gopi Setti, Tejas, Rashi, Swapnil, Ishika, Vishwanath, Robin, Muskan, Himanshi, Jyoti, Purvi, Shivansh, Poonam. Right, all of you have replied me. I am getting more and more responses there. Astha has also replied. But I want response from all of your side. There's so many participants right now in the classroom, but all are not responding to the answer there. I want everybody's response here in the portal. I want your active participation in the classroom. Today I will be interacting with you a lot, and I will be going through all important concepts. Today's class is going to be really very, very important for the coming examination. So please participate actively in the classroom, and we are all going to see your all responses and queries and everything there. And please copy the question also there. I request all of you to copy questions. I am seeing all your responses there. Well done, good. and kindly copy the question with the whiteboard there. Kindly copy the whiteboard. All right, great, good, excellent. Now let's look at the answer here. So look at here, habitat 1. See, what is species richness? Yesterday I defined in the classroom that richness is number of species found in a habitat. How many different types of species are found in a given habitat? That is called richness. See, when we say Western Ghats of India is highly rich in biodiversity as compared to Deccan Plateau, it means that the number of different varieties of species of flora and fauna, algae, fungi, all types of species found in the Western Ghats has higher numbers as compared to Deccan Plateau, right? So how many varieties of species are there? How many flora, how many fauna which are found in that particular habitat? So if you see the habitat 1 here, tiger, rhino, deer. Tiger 1, rhino 2, deer 3rd. 3, 1, 2, 3. So habitat 1 has got 3 species. So what is the first question here? Species richness in habitat 1 is 3. The 3 types of species: tiger, rhino and deer. So answer is here A. Now let's look at habitat 2. Habitat 2 also has got tiger, rhino and deer. Tiger, rhino, deer. Again 3. So habitat 2 also have got 3 species. So richness is again the same. So question number 2, species richness in habitat 1 and 2 is the same. It is exactly the same. Habitat 1 has got 3 species, tiger, rhino and deer. Habitat 2 has got 3 species, tiger, rhino and deer. So the answer here will be C, 1 equal to 2. Now coming to evenness. Yesterday I have defined in the classroom, evenness is the abundance. There is a word called abundance. How abundant that particular species is there. What is the number of species? Is it equal or unequal? Is it even or non-even? Is it uniformly distributed or non-uniformly distributed? So now if you see habitat 1, what do we find in habitat 1? Tiger is only 5 in numbers. Tiger is 5 in number. Then rhinoceros is 10. 10 in rhinoceros. 10 rhinoceros. So tiger is very, very few. Tiger is very, very less. But we find that deer is very abundant. 85 deer. So unequal. The representation is unequal. But if you take the habitat number 2, 35, 35, 30. 35 tigers, 35 rhinos and 30 deer. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Equally distributed. Equal proportion. I can use the word equal proportion. So proportionately represented in habitat 2. So habitat 2 has got higher evenness as compared to habitat 1. So here the answer will be question number 3. The species evenness in habitat 1 and habitat 2 is answer will be B. B for Bombay. B will be answer. B for Banaras. Right? 2 is greater than 1. 2 has got higher evenness, equal distribution, proportionate representation as compared to habitat 1. Clear here? So this is and many of you have got correct answer. So I'll first clap for all of you. All of you have got good answer. You have all got the correct answer. So clap for you. Good. Very good. That means you have understood the meaning of the terms. Right? You have understood the meaning of the terms. Let me go one step further. Let me go to one step further, right? Now I'm coming to second example. Let me take second example. KBC, कौन बनेगा? Civil servant. So second example. So what I'm now coming here with the second example. Forest, grassland, right? Now I'm changing the example here. Now I'm coming to example number 2, second example, and I'm also changing here the data. Let me change the information on the table. Let me change the table example here. Let me see how many of you can now get the correct answer. So here, forest and grassland, two types of ecosystem, and I'm now writing the species name here. You have elephant, leopard, then I'm giving here tiger, right? Then I'm writing here langur. Then I'm writing here, I'll give you example. Let's say I'll take example of a bird. There's a flamingo, right? And I'm again taking another example. So elephant, leopard, tiger, langur, flamingo. Now let's say here gharial. So gharial, let's say if the river is there, then it's all right. Let's take another example there. Hyena, right? And I'm taking the example of tree. Let's say sal tree, right? So now I am giving you here I am now increasing the numbers and I am going to the part of ecosystem here. All right. Now I am giving you the number here. Let's say here you have 10 elephants, 15 leopards, no tiger, 10 langur, no flamingo, no hyena, and the tree of sal is here. Let's say here I am giving here 15. So total number becomes here 25, 35, right, 50, right? And now let me give you here in second one the grassland. Elephant is here 10 elephant, all right. There is no leopard. There is 10 tigers, right? Then you have 10 langurs, all right. Then you have here 15 flamingo, all right. You have 15 flamingo, and then I am giving here 10 hyena, all right. 10 hyena, and how many species there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then no sal tree is there, all right. There is no sal tree is there. So let's say here I'll give here 10. Let's say 10 here. So total again, if you count here, 50. All right. Now I'm modifying the question. Now I'm changing the question here. Right. Now I'm changing the question here. Now I am asking here that now my question is that species richness in ecosystem 2 is what? In ecosystem, or let me, instead of using the word ecosystem, let me ask here in grassland. To make it more clear, in grassland is 3, 4, 1, 5, right? Now second question, species richness in forest and grassland. Now we are comparing here forest ecosystem and we are comparing with the grassland here. and I'm now giving the option here grassland here. So you have to consider the example number 2, and here I'm just removing the option what I've written here. Clear here? And question number 3 here, species evenness in, let's say here, forest, and grassland. Now you give me the answer here. Now I want answer from your side. I have changed the example. I have given another example here. Now your question is like this. Species richness in grassland is how much? Right? Then you have species richness in forest and grassland is comparison. And question 3 is the species evenness in forest grassland is what? Right? So that you have to give me the answer here. Or let me do one thing more. Alright, so now tell me the answer here. What will be answer here? I have changed with another example. Let me see how many of you have got the correct answer there. Now give me the answer here. Okay. All right. Where are the other, what is called there? There is a, Eminem. You know the Eminem? Eminem. Do you listen songs? Slim Shady. Please stand up. Please stand up. You have seen that, heard that popular song? All Slim Shadys stand up. Please stand up. So for all the Slim Shadys of the class, please wake up. Please wake up. So I want your response. I want all of your response. There are others who are, they are just watching, right? So please, I want response, everyone's response here. So all the Slim Shadys of the class, please wake up. Please wake up. Give your response now. I want your response now. Okay. All right. All right. All the studies are now giving me answer there. All Slim studies are now answering the question there. All right, great. I want all the answers there. Okay, now you see there. How many species are there in forest? In the forest ecosystem, how many species are there? Elephant, leopard, right? Elephant, leopard, and then langur and hyena, 4. In forest ecosystems, you have 4 types of species. So species richness of forest is 4. All right. Now grassland. Which are the species found in grassland? Elephant, then you have tiger, then you have langur, and then you have flamingo, and then you have hyena, 5. So in grassland ecosystem, species richness in grassland ecosystem is 5. The answer is D. 5 is the answer. Now let's look at here this one. Species richness in forest and grassland. Forest has got 4 species, grassland has got 5. So which is greater? Grassland is greater than forest. That means if you compare here grassland and the forest. So let's say forest is 1. I am giving forest is 1 and grassland is 2. Right. So now tell me what will be answer here. So if you compare the richness here, the 2 will be greater than 1. Grassland will be greater than forest. So answer is B. Right. Now evenness. Now look at evenness. 10, 15, 10, 15. Forest. Grassland has got 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. All are 10. Which is more evenly distributed? Grassland or forest? 2 or 1? Definitely grassland. Though forest has got a little bit of difference in numbers, but again remember that when you are dealing with statistics, when you're dealing with sampling statistics, even 1 or 2, right, increase or decrease makes a lot of difference in the result. So here you have uniform distribution. So grassland has got more. That means 2 is greater than 1. The answer is B. Right? The answer is B here. Right? Most of you have given the correct answer. So again, clap for all of you. And those who are slim shaddies of the class who have given response right now, for them also clap. For them also let me clap there. All right, guys. So here you get 100% correct, 100 out of 100. क्या बात है, right? Good, very good. So you got that one. So now I am very happy. I am very happy that my students are doing well, and they are able to follow me, and they are able to understand whatever I am teaching. Right? That gives me satisfaction of teaching your batch, that you are able to follow that. All right. Everybody has copied it. If you have copied it, I'll clean the whiteboard and I'll come to alpha, beta, and gamma. Again, we'll do Q&A. So have you copied it? All students of the classroom, have you copied the second example and the second question here? Have you copied it? I am giving you time to copy that. Great. Great. Good. Have you copied it? I am going to clean the whiteboard. That's what I am asking again. Have you copied the whiteboard? If I get majority yes, I'll clean the whiteboard. All right, most of you have done that. All right, so I'm cleaning the whiteboard now. Now let's come here to alpha, beta, and gamma diversity. Let's now come to alpha, beta, and gamma diversity. Example 3. Now I'm coming to example 3. I'll tell you one very important aspect. CSAT. Right, your paper 2 in the prelims exam, CSAT. In CSAT, you get comprehension passages from environment topic. From ecology and environment, you'll find every year reading comprehension passages given in the paper of CSAT. Right? Civil Service Aptitude Test. From 2011, CSAT was introduced. So you'll find every year you'll have this kind of paragraphs, reading comprehension question, multiple choice questions. In CSAT paper, you have a reasoning and those kind of question, aptitude based questions. Even there also, alpha, beta, and gamma can be asked. Your numerical strength, numeracy, and reasoning ability, based on that, the question can be asked. So let's consider that CSAT type of questions, right? CSAT type of question here. So example 3 here. Consider this landscape. I am drawing a landscape here. Let's say this is the landscape you have. All right, and these are the habitats. Habitat number 1, habitat number 2, habitat number 3, habitat number 4. I am just giving a random examples. I'm just giving the random example here. So now you have to answer this following question. Question number 1. Alpha diversity of which two habitats, right? Alpha diversity of which habitats is, which habitats is, all its habitats are same or equal, right? Or same or equal. Let's say I am putting here equal, question mark here. Now I am giving the option here. 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. First you write the whiteboard. First you write it, then I'll take your answer there. Question number 2. Beta diversity of habitat, beta diversity of which two habitats is same or equal. Is same or equal. A 1 and 2, B 1 and 2 and 3, C 3 and 4, D here 1 and 4. Let me write the question first, and then you have and 1 and 3. Now your last question here, question number 3, gamma diversity of the landscape is A. I am now asking gamma diversity. You know what is gamma diversity, right? Is 5, 6, 7 and 8. I repeat the question. Those who cannot see the question here, so for them I am repeating the question here. Gamma diversity of the landscape is A 5, B 6, C 7, D 8. You can first copy the question there. Copy the question now. I want answer of all the 3 questions. Please answer me all the 3 questions, 1, 2, 3. Please copy the question and then think and give the answer here. I am giving you time there. Question number 1, alpha diversity of which habitats are same or equal? A 1 and 2, B 2 and 3, C 2, 3 and 4, D 1, 2, 3 and 4. Question number 2, beta diversity of which two habitat is same or equal? A 1 and 2, B 2 and 3, C 1 and 4, D 1 and 3. And question number 3, gamma diversity of the landscape is A 5, B 6, C 7, ENV-8. I want all the answers. All the answers there. I want everybody's participation in the class. I want everybody's answer here. This will help you understand the concept better. Last class I have already given you definition there. I want your response. I want everybody's response in the class. Utkarsh, Robin, Ishika, Kanika, Lakshya, all these people are. I am getting the response of the same people there. I want everybody's response in the classroom. Vishaka, Sushma, Astha is very active. Keshav, Harsis, Chetram, Manish. I want everybody's answer here. Great, great, good. I want your response. Good. Ritumbra, then Jyoti, Parul, good, very good. Smriti, all right. I want everybody's answer here. There is such a big classroom. This is a very big classroom. So at least I can expect more than 100 answers there. But unfortunately, others are just watching the class. They are not responding it. I cannot say anything. I have repeatedly asked you to respond there. I'll come to the answer here. What is alpha diversity? What do you mean by the term alpha diversity? Yesterday I mentioned in the classroom that alpha diversity is the diversity inside a habitat, within a habitat. Now let's look at the landscape here. The landscape what you have here, what is alpha diversity of 1? If you take here, alpha diversity of 1 is 2. The first habitat has got 2 species. What are 2 species? Tiger and the deer. So alpha of first is 2. Alpha of second, if you take alpha of second, how many species are there in the second habitat? Lion, deer and rhino. 3 are there. So alpha of second is 3. Now alpha of third habitat. In the third habitat, you have elephant, gaur and crane. Crane is a bird. So 3 species. So alpha 3 is 3. Now habitat 4. Habitat 4 has got crane, then you have cow and tiger. 3. So here alpha of habitat 4 is 3. Now you tell me from the given question, alpha diversity of which habitats are same? 2, 3 and 4. 2 has got 3, 3 has got 3 species and 4 has got 3 species. So answer will be 2, 3 and 4. C as an answer. Now question number 2, beta diversity. What is beta diversity? Beta diversity is that 2 habitats. When you take 2 habitats at one time, you are considering 2 habitats and you are seeing what type of species are found. If you take 2 habitats together, what type of species you come across. So if you say here, take here, if I take 1 and 2, if I take beta of 1 and 2, so what I find here, beta of 1 and 2, if we compare beta 1 and 2, tiger, deer, lion, deer, rhino. So deer is common there. So tiger, deer, I am talking about type of species. I am not talking about numbers. I am talking type of species. Tiger has one type, deer is another type, lion is another type, rhino is another type. So you have a 4. Now you take habitat 2 and 3. Now take beta of 2 and 3. 2 and 3. What do you find here? Lion, deer, rhino. Third is here elephant, gaur, crane. Are they same? Lion, deer, rhino 3. Elephant, gaur and crane. So you are having 6. Lion, deer, rhino 3 are there. Elephant, gaur, crane another 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Now let's come to beta of 3 and 4. Now comparing third and fourth. Now elephant, gaur and crane, crane, cow and tiger. Right? Crane, cow and tiger. So crane is common. Right? So you have cow 1, tiger 2, right? Tiger 2 and elephant third, right? So you have 3 here and then you have fourth cow and tiger 5. So you have got here 5, right? You have got 5 here. Now you take here in terms of 1 and 4. So beta of 1 and 4. If we compare 1 and 4. So tiger, deer. Tiger is common, deer is a 2, cow and crane. Cow and crane, the 2 others, so you have 4. Right? 4 is there. So here what you find here that if you take beta, if you compare beta diversity, which 2 habitats is same or equal, you will find that 1 and 4 have got 4 and 1 and 3, 1 and 2 have got 4, right? So 1 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, I got the problem there. That see here, I'll explain here. You all are right there. 1 and 4, 1 and 2, you have 4, and 1 and 4 also you have 4. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 4 will have same beta. So let me change here. So here the answer will be both of this, A and the C. Both of them. Those who have taken C as an answer, that is also correct. And 1 and 2 also, that is also correct here. Right? 1 and 2 and 1 and 4, they have the same beta there. Right? They have the same beta there. Right? So 1 and 2, 1 and 4 have the same kind of answer there. Right? So here, or I can do one thing here. I'll change the option here. What I'll do here, for beta, let me make a change in the question here. I can give you a multiple choice here, right? I can give you a multiple choice here, like you can have A, B, C, D. So the answer here will be here, let's say A and C, right? Let's say I'll make that change. I'll just make that change here. So let's say consider here you have A, capital A, let's say capital B. I'll change the marker. Capital A, capital B. Let's consider here. You take here capital A, capital B, capital C and capital D. Correct? Let's say, and A and C are having the same, right? 1 and 2 and 1 and 4. And now for this question, I am giving the option here. A, now I am giving the option for this question or 2, that A and B, B and C, A and C and A and D. Let me complete the question here. Question number 2, I'll make you understand here. Beta habitat is between 2 habitats. Beta habitat is between 2 habitats. So beta of 1 and 2 is equal to 4 and 1 and 4 also equal to 4. Total number of species. So what is comes here? Beta diversity of which 2 habitat is same or equal. So I am giving here capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D. Capital A is 1 and 2, capital B is 2 and 3, capital C is 1 and 4, capital D is 1 and 3. And now I am giving you the option here, small a and B, small b, B and C, small c, A and C, and small d, A and D. So what will be answer here? The answer will be here C. Why the answer will be small c? A and C. What is A? A is 1 and 2. And what is C? Capital C? 1 and 4. Because 1 and 2 beta and 1 and 4 beta, both are 4 and 4. So that's what, here the option will be here A and C. Now coming to gamma diversity. Gamma diversity of the entire landscape. If you take entire landscape here, the entire landscape, how many different type of species you find? Entire landscape, how many different type of species you come across? In this entire landscape, tiger 1, deer 2, lion 3, rhino 4, elephant 5, gaur 6, crane 7, cow 8. So answer will be here 8. D. Is it clear, everyone? Are you able to understand what is alpha? Diversity of species in a habitat, within a habitat. That is a alpha. Right? So let me again repeat. What is alpha here of 1? 2. What is alpha of second? 3. What is alpha of 3? 3. Elephant, gaur and crane. What is alpha of 4? 3. Crane, cow and tiger. What is beta? If you take two habitats, the species of two habitats, that is called beta. So if we take 1 and 2, tiger, deer, lion, rhino, 4 types. So beta 1 and 2 equal to 4. Now see there, 2 and 3. If I take beta of 2 and 3, 2 has got lion, deer, rhino. Third has got elephant, gaur and crane. All are different. Lion, deer, tiger, rhino 3, elephant, gaur, crane 6. 3 plus 3, 6. So beta of 2 and 3 is 6. Now take 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Elephant, gaur and crane, cow and tiger. So crane is common. Will count as a 1. Elephant, gaur 3. Cow, tiger 5. So beta of 3 and 4 is 5. Now 1 and 4. Beta of 1 and 4. 1 has got tiger, deer. 4 has got crane, cow and tiger. So which is common? Tiger is common, 1. Deer 2. Crane 3. Cow 4. So beta of 1 and 4 is 4. Now I have given the question here. Beta diversity of which two habitat is same or equal? Capital A 1 and 2, capital B 2 and 3, capital C 1 and 4, capital D 1 and 3. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 4 have got the same beta, 4 and 4. So answer will be here A and B, B and C, A and C, D, A and D. So answer will be A and C. Because A is 1 and 2 and C is 1 and 4. Both are same. And gamma, entire landscape. That is a tiger, deer, lion, rhino, elephant, gaur, crane, cow. Total number of species. Different type of species. 8 are there. So question 3 answer is D. That is 8. I hope it is clear. With the example I am trying to make you understand, and I have repeated it. Right, in your batch I have found there are students, right, even after like one time of repetition, sir please repeat, sir please repeat, sir please repeat. So I have repeated again there. Again I am giving you a chance. If you have doubt, please ask. If you have doubt, please ask me. अभी भी मन में कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए. Parul Kumar, is it clear? If you have any doubt, then okay, question language you want to change. All right, I'll do one thing here. Beta diversity of which is same. Okay, you want to make me change in the language, I'll change the language. The beta diversity of which of following, let's say I'm changing the statement there. All right, if you are confused with the habitat, so I'll change the language. Which of following is same. Now it's all right. Now it's all right. I'm changing the language. If you have confusion regarding question number 2, I'm changing the language. I've changed the language. Right? I've removed the habitat. Beta diversity of which of following is same or equal. Now it is all right there. I've changed the language there. Okay, 2 and 3 and 2 and 4 also same. But I have not given you option, na? Okay, you are saying 2 and 4. 2 and 4. 2 and 4 if you take lion, deer and rhino, right? 3 are there. All right, not a problem there. If you take 2 and 4, but option I have, see here. But in the option I have not given you 2 and 4. You are right. You are very right. I agree that if you take 2 and 4, beta will also be same. You are right there. Who is saying that? There is one student saying that 2 and 4 there is all right there. 2 and 4 if you take lion, deer, rhino, 3 and then crane 6 are there. 2 and 4 has got 6 and 2 and 3 have got 6. But I have not given you option, no? I have not given 2 and 4 anywhere. See, I have changed the question here. Your options are here. You have to select the options here. What I have given the options are here. But do you have any here? You have 1 and 4. Out of given this choice A, B, C, D, you have to take the option here. Did you get my point? Question number 2, I have changed the language. I have given here multiple choice A, B, C, D. Capital A, capital B, capital C and D. And then I have given here. So given the options here A, B, C, D, you have 1 and 4. You are right. 2 and 4 are also same as 1 and 2 and 3. That's right. But you don't have the choice there, right? If that choice has been given, then you can exercise the question. Right? Gopinath is Gopi Setti is right. Again, I am giving you that beta diversity. Let's understand. Once again, I am explaining beta diversity. Rest of the questions are clear, right? Beta diversity, total diversity of 2 habitats. You have to take 2 habitats together and consider as a common, and then you have to do the calculation. 2 habitats together, right? Comparison of their diversity. You have to take 2 habitats together to make that part of it. Beta is 2 habitat. You take 2 habitat together, then what number of species you come across, that is called beta. Let me see your doubts again, or else we'll move to the next topic here. Okay, few doubts have come from your side. Aradhana, as in stories it is said, in a forest there is one lion. Let's say tiger here. Species awareness is there at a place. Other weaker species may always be threatened by the stronger and more number of predator species. So I want to ask that species richness is not as ideal thing for a biodiversity. Yes, that is right. Richness and evenness, there is just a mathematical way to understand. Aradhana, your question is very valid. Richness and evenness and this alpha and beta and gamma, these are numerical method, statistical method, sampling method to get an idea of a particular type of ecosystem or a landscape. You are right there. And the example what I gave, don't get carried away by the example. भाइयों और बहनों, मित्रों, जो एग्जाम्पल मैंने दिया है उसको हकीकत नहीं समझना है. This is not a practical example I have given. This example I have taken randomly, right, to just make you understand what is alpha, beta, gamma and what is richness and evenness. So please don't take it as a real world example. Don't consider these all examples as real world example. Real world nature, don't take that. It is just a theoretical part, just to make you understand the meaning of the terms. But yes, Aradhana, you are correct that there has to be always a balance in ecosystem. Richness and evenness has to be linked with the balance of the ecosystem. A stable ecosystem shall have in such a way that there is high richness and high evenness. If the richness and evenness, they are balanced in way, then only an ecosystem can be stable. You are right. Now question number 2, Lakshya. Lakshya has asked the question, is beta diversity, total diversity 2 habitat or comparison of their habitat? Total habitats of 2, total diversity of two habitats. You are taking two habitats together as a common. You are including two habitats. Habitat number 1, habitat number 2. You are taking them together as single, and you are seeing what all species are there, here and here, total. That is also one way of comparison only. Which is common, which is not common. Some species may be common, some species may not be common. So you are taking into account all of this in the two habitats. I'll give you example. Let's take example. A beautiful example. You'll always remember throughout your life. I'll give you an example. You cannot see my stomach, but let's say my gut, my intestine. Human intestine contains bacteria. Just understand, listen to my this. You'll always remember throughout your life. Human intestine, the gut, contains bacteria. All different types of bacteria in my gut, my human gut, my gut here, my intestine is alpha diversity. Consider my gut or intestine as habitat. Now, all bacteria in your intestine, let's say Lakshya intestine, alpha of Lakshya, Aradhana's alpha, right? Anshul, Jitendra. So each of the gut is having alpha. Now let's look. My bacteria in my gut, my intestine, and I am comparing this with Muskan's gut. Muskan's intestine have bacteria. So now I am comparing my intestine bacteria with Muskan's bacteria. So we are taking together, that is beta. Or I am comparing my intestine with Lakshya intestine, that is the beta, right? And in this classroom of more than 500 students, if you take all the guts, all the intestine present in the classroom here, right, all the intestine together, that will give me gamma. So in the exam hall, if question comes, please remember the gut, human gut, 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 or human intestine. Did you understand now? I think this example makes you clear here. Right? This example makes you clear. Alright, there is a question from Komal. Komal Sunil Daima is asking a question here that we are talking about two habitats. Then why are we counting three habitats in question number 1, 2 and 4? See, why we are counting here, which question number 1 to 4? Acha, you are talking previous question. Acha, previous example, 1 to 4. Which 1 to 4? I think you are talking about previous question. So that is you are talking about this question, Komal. Are you talking about this question? 1, 2 and 4. Which 1, 2 and 4 you are talking about? I didn't understand your question. Komal, you have to again send me the question that. Now here is there, I don't know. I've got from the batch coordinator the question. Batch coordinator has sent me a question about Komal. So which 1, 2 and 4 you are talking about? Three habitats, which one you are talking about? I have made it. Now Neelam question there. Beta diversity, species diversity between ecosystems. Not necessary. Beta diversity can be between two habitats also. It can be between two ecosystems also. And we can take entire, one ecosystem with another, one landscape with another. It can be at micro level and it can be at macro level. Right? So please don't presume, Madam Neelam, please don't presume that beta diversity is always for the ecosystem. No. It can be habitat also, it can be ecosystem, it can be landscape. Alright. This involves comparing the number of taxa that are unique to each of the ecosystem. Great. Yeah, I agree with that. So then according to definition, we should compare only two habitats instead of comparing 1, 2 and 1, 4. Right? See, I am talking about habitat point of view. I am not talking about ecosystem. I am talking about landscape. Here the question I have given the landscape. And I told you very clearly, I'm not giving you a real world example. This is not a real world practical example. It is just only to make you understand what is alpha, what is beta, what is gamma. There's a theory part of it. So please don't relate with your real world example. Right? Real world example, that is something different. It is only to make you understand what is alpha, what is beta, and what is gamma. That's it. I hope this clarifies your doubts. So कौन बनेगा सिविल सर्वेंट? डॉक्टर साहब इतनी बार तो समझा दिया. There is a student called Dr. Shiv Kumar, right? I think it is clear to everyone. Then I can move to the next concept. I have explained so many times alpha, beta and gamma. I have explained alpha, beta, gamma, but again there is one doctor, Dr. Shiv Kumar, he is still asking me a question, what is alpha, beta, gamma? So please open the Vision Eye study material. So something you have to also do the homework, right? Mr. Dr. Sahab, आपको भी थोड़ा बहुत homework करना होगा, right? Or you go back to recorded video and try to again get to understand that, right? I have taken time in the classroom to make you understand this concept because there can be a question in the exam. So that's what I have come across that, right? But I know that there, in this kind of a batch, there will be certain number of students who will be, sir, kuch samajh nahi aaya. I cannot help you out. For those people, you have to open book and read there, right? Alpha is within a habitat, beta is between two habitat, and Dr. Shiv Kumar, where were you the last class? Where you present the last class? Where I gave the definition and all? If you're there, then well and good. Alpha, last time I'm repeating, I'll move on because it's already 1 hour has been spent by all taking all the question example. I've done it in your batch, otherwise in any of the batch, I never take this much of time. I can do it in 10-15 minutes and move on. But I've taken through question answer. Why I'm taking Q and answer method? So that you are comfortable in the exam hall. The main purpose of taking question and answer with example to make you comfortable. Anyway, if you want there, I'll just go to the last time. Alpha is inside a habitat. Each one has got alpha. Beta is between two habitats. You are taking two habitats together. And gamma is all habitats, the entire landscape or entire ecosystem. That becomes a gamma. Right? So I'll clean the whiteboard now. Enough of alpha, beta and gamma. And I think now space richness and evenness, I think it is clear with that. Now let's come to conservation part. I am now coming to biodiversity conservation. Now I am coming to the next topic, biodiversity conservation. Biodiversity conservation, right? So we have already covered importance of biodiversity, and then we have also discussed threats to biodiversity. So how do we conserve a biodiversity, flora and fauna? In this context, there are two approaches there. The two approaches by which we can conserve biodiversity of any ecosystem. That is, first is called in situ conservation, and then ex situ conservation. In situ conservation, ex situ conservation. Now what is in situ conservation? When we carry out conservation within habitat, within natural habitat, that is called in situ. What is ex situ conservation? Ex situ conservation is the outside, when for any reason, right, the species is not able to survive in their natural habitat, scientists try to do the conservation outside natural habitat by following the ex situ method. They follow the ex situ method. Now that various methods are there under the law where we can carry out in situ and ex situ method. The first thing here comes here, that is in terms of sanctuary. Declaration of sanctuary. Second comes here is the national park. Right? In India, we have more than 500 sanctuaries. We have 100 plus national parks in the country. Third concept which comes here, that is a biosphere reserve. Biosphere reserve. Now, biosphere reserve concept is a very unique concept. That is under a very important program of UNESCO. It's called UNESCO Man and Biosphere Program. This was first time initiated. Man and Biosphere Program was first time initiated in the year 1971 by intergovernmental organization called UNESCO MAB program, where biosphere reserve, the concept of biosphere reserve has been defined. Now, apart from that, Government of India has amended the Wildlife Protection Act and came out with another very unique concept, that is called community reserve. Community reserve and conservation reserve. Community reserve and conservation reserve. This has been done under the amendment to the Wildlife Protection Act. See, again, I'll tell you very clearly. This diagram, this flowchart I am doing just to give you first overview. What is national park? What is sanctuary? What is biosphere reserve? We are going to go into detail. So let me make it very clear right now that this flowchart which I am giving as a names is just as an introduction to the topic of biodiversity conservation. Because I know in your batch there are students who start jumping ahead. Right? So please have patience. We will study what is national park, what is sanctuary, what is biosphere reserve. I am going to come to that. But first understand example, what are in situ, what are ex situ. So these are in situ one. Right? Now in forest, in India we have forest laws there, where we declare different types of forests for conservation purpose. So among the forests here, what I am writing here, the sixth one is here, there is a called protected forest. Protected forest. And seventh one I am writing here, reserved forest. Protected forest, reserved forest. Alright. Now when the wild animals, plants, they are not able to survive in their natural surroundings, then we go for outside habitat conservation. That is the ex situ. So here ex situ conservation, the examples here, first one comes here for the plants, herbarium, herbs. Herbs are small plants. They are small plants. Their samples are conserved in herbarium. Then comes here next one for plants only, that is what is called arboretum. Arboretum is basically botanical garden. When you go to botanical garden, arboreal, whenever the word comes arboreal, that is trees, where you have trees and collection of trees, particularly in the botanical garden. So what comes the third one here, botanical garden. There are so many botanical gardens which have been set up in India, right? We have so many places. In Noida there is a botanical garden. There is a metro station also there. Lucknow there is a botanical garden. Hyderabad there is a botanical garden. Mumbai has got a botanical garden. Trivandrum has got a botanical garden. We have so many botanical gardens in the country, right? All major cities in India, you will find there is a botanical garden, right? Then coming to seed banks. Seeds of plants, right? They are conserved under low temperature, under freezing temperature. So here something called here is the word called cryopreservation. Cryo means below 0 degrees Celsius, like liquid nitrogen. They use liquid nitrogen, and there the seeds are conserved. Seeds are conserved with liquefied nitrogen, right? Minus 196 degrees Celsius, sub-zero temperature. There are special seed banks are created where seeds of the plants are preserved in seed banks, right? India has got seed banks. Now world's biggest seed bank, I'll come to that one, the world's biggest seed bank, it is called Doomsday. What is called as the Doomsday? That is in Norway. There's an island near the North Pole called as Svalbard, Svalbard, Svalbard seed bank. There's world's biggest seed bank. But we must also be proud that in India we have world's second biggest seed bank in Leh Ladakh. There's a pass, mountain pass called Changla Mountain Pass. DRDO, you know about the organization DRDO, has their seed bank. They're second biggest in the world. I'll come to that example there. So cryopreservation. Then what comes here of animals? Captive breeding centers. For different types of animals, there are captive breeding centers, right, which are set up to breed the animals and then left it to the wild. Then comes here zoological parks. Zoological park, Chidiyaghar, large zoo, Delhi Zoological Park or Lucknow Zoological Park. You'll find not only for people who come to see the animals there, but also for educational purpose, training purpose, and sometimes there may be breeding program for animals. Zoological parks are set up. Then comes here gene bank. Seed bank is the one part, and seed bank is also like a gene bank. Gene bank can be done for animals and gene bank can be done for plants also. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. And we have in India gene bank. There is a gene bank for wild animals called LACONS, Lab for Conservation of Endangered Species. You may be reading in current affairs. There is one very important organization under Department of Biotechnology called CCMB, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology in Hyderabad. Where is located CCMB? Hyderabad. There we have a DNA bank, gene bank of animals which are endangered, let's say tiger or lion or asiatic lion, rhinoceros. So if there is a need, we can use biotechnology method to revive those species, increase their population by using the method of cloning. You know cloning, we can clone the animal. So biotechnology can be used for conservation. So gene bank there. So CCMB here, there we have a LACONS there. I'll be giving example there. And Lucknow, near to Lucknow, Bareilly, Raebareli, there is a IVRI campus, Indian Veterinary Research Institute, IVRI campus in UP, Uttar Pradesh. There in the campus, DNA bank for wildlife has been set up, which will cater the North India DNA bank. For South India, CCMB, Hyderabad. I'll give you that, don't worry. Whatever I'm saying here I'm giving the explanation part, I'll give you writing part. But first I'm giving you the division, in situ, ex situ. First is the division, right? We'll go to the detailed part, don't worry. But this is the division part. So please copy this one. So Bareilly, there IVRI center, DNA bank is there. Yeah, Ooty also has got. Please copy the whiteboard. Kindly copy the whiteboard. I'll give you more example there. All are copied, then please let me know so that I can what I said right now, I will give you the example there. If you have copied it, well and good. All right, guys. Let me now go through it one by one. This is a Svalbard seed bank, global seed board. Right. This is where India also has given the seeds there, and it is a very important. It is called Doomsday. It's deep inside a mountain or a remote island in Svalbard. Svalbard is an island. Svalbard is an island near to North Pole. And it comes under Norway. It comes under Norway. You can see in the map there. And there the seed bank has been made. World's more than 1,700 gene banks hold collection of food crops for safekeeping. This is where you have the, what is the purpose here? That is the world's, if any kind of catastrophe happens, then the seeds can be used to start the next civilization part. So you have location here, is a mountain in the Svalbard here, is a permafrost. Right, where naturally the temperature is naturally the temperature is in less than 0 degree centigrade. In Svalbard, this has been now made that. So there is a capacity to store 4.5 million varieties of crops, right, which can be stored in this seed bank, and temperature is minus 18 degrees Celsius, right. So that is where it is stored in the, it is an Arctic there. Norway country, Norway has a sovereignty over this Svalbard, SVALBARD, Svalbard gene bank, and you can see here, these are the seeds which are kept there in the Svalbard seed bank. India has also contributed in the seed bank, right. India has also contributed there. Now here, India's seed bank, right, freezing future inside Changla. You can write in your note copy, Changla, there is a mountain pass in Himalayas, that is India's doomsday, right. And this is where you have the part, see here. Svalbard, this one global seed bolt has completed 10th anniversary in 2008, right. That is in Norway as a part of the bank there, where you have, this is a photograph, global seed bolt. And again now India has developed its own. Now this is India's Ladakh. In Ladakh, DRDO manages this seed bank. So DRDO, right, owns this particular seed bank where you have this. Now you can see here, jointly by the Defense Institute of High Altitude Research, DIHAR. Defense Institute of High Altitude Research, DIHAR is a lab of DRDO and National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, right. In 2010, under the DRDO, has created in Ladakh India's doomsday, or world's second biggest doomsday, and you can see that it is the second largest in the world. You may not be aware of this information. Were you aware of this information? क्या आपको ये जानकारी मालूम था पहले से? You may not aware of that, and UPSC can ask you question from anywhere, right? So that's what I'm trying to provide you in the classroom there. Now this Changla Pass where DRDO has set up, this is the second largest in the world, and that is in Ladakh. The high altitude seed vault in Ladakh, right? And you have in the Changla, that is a Changla is a high altitude mountain pass. It remains shrouded in snow. So there naturally the temperature is very, very low, right? Minus 18 degrees Celsius, where the seed bank, this is all kept, right? So all these are kept there, and you can see here, this is where seeds are now conserved there. Right? This is the box, the black box which you can see that, and conserved there in the seed bank there, and we have given to Svalbard also there. Now coming to this one, LACONS, Lab for Conservation of Endangered Species. That is under the CCMB, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad. Lab for Conservation, CON is conservation, E is endangered, S is species. And you can see here, in situ habitat preservation and ex situ there. So LACONS was set up by Government of India, Department of Biotechnology, Central Zoo Authorities, and with the Government of Andhra Pradesh at that time in 1998. Then you know that Hyderabad is now in the new state of Telangana. Now it has become a separate state of Telangana, right? In Telangana, now it has become next state there. Earlier it was Hyderabad, but now Telangana, right? So it was set up in 2007 to promote, see here, what is given here? To promote excellence in conservation biotechnology and serve for conservation of endangered wildlife in India. And then I have said here, in North India, IVRI, a DNA bank for wild animals, Bareilly. Scientists hope it will keep poaching in check, illegal killing and poaching there of animals. So here, IVRI, Indian Veterinary Research Institute, located in Uttar Pradesh, Bareilly district. They are the DNA of wild animals, tigers to deer. This has been now conserved here. This is the campus of IVRI. That's in Bareilly in Uttar Pradesh, where the DNA bank for wildlife has been set up. Right, this you have a photograph of the campus here. So now you can see here, LACONS is in Hyderabad. The other one is the LACONS in Hyderabad, and second what comes here, IVRI. Right. So this now what is said here? The scientist said that we are making a baseline data of different animals, specimen, viscera, skin, part of the body of wild animals from Forest Department Zoo, and take out the DNA. Sometimes what happened, illegal killing of animals, illegal trade of parts of animals, tiger, elephant, rhinoceros or deer or any animals there. So the department which caught such kind of samples, so they can be verified through this DNA bank. This can be done with the DNA bank, right? So it has been now fully functional. All these are fully functional there. Clear here? I hope what I am discussing right now. And you see, I can tell you something which is 10 years back also there. What do you find in current affair materials? 1 year current affairs material. It might not come in the newspaper, but I can tell you in the classroom that this was there in the news 3 years back or 5 years back or 10 years back, where questions can be asked in the exam. Right? Is it clear here? Conservation biotechnology is a very, very important method. Right? Conservation biotechnology is a very, very important method of conserving the specimen of samples and of species there. All right. Okay, guys. So what I'll now do here, very quick. I'll not give you more time. Very quick. You have to provide me answers here. Very quick. You have to give me answer. You can see the question here. Which of following is not an in situ conservation of biodiversity or ex situ? National Park, Botanical Garden, Wildlife Sanctuary, Biosphere Reserve. This has been asked in UPSC prelims exam. What will be answer here? What will be answer? What will be answer here? hear me? Am I audible there? All right. वो इनको सुनाई दे रहा है, ठीक है. The conservation part which I have explained here, and I'm taking the question here, and there was just a power off was there, so that's what you all got disconnected. I'll give you break, don't worry, I'll provide you break, but just I want to want to take 2 questions there. Very quickly I want to take up there, and then we'll have a small break there. Let's take a question fast. So what will be answer here? What will be answer here? It's a simple question there. So here question is not in situ, that is ex situ. So ex situ is botanical garden. So answer will be here B. Right? Now question number 5. Which of following methods can be used to conserve wild varieties of plants? Right? Wild varieties of plants. Cryopreservation, tissue culture, herbarium, arboretum, gene bank. So option A is 3 and 5, B is 2, 3, 5, C is 1, 2, 3 and 5, and D is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here the answer will be all of this. Cryopreservation, like for seed bank. For seed bank we have, this cryopreservation is done, right? Tissue culture, that is for artificial medium where we can make a plant. We can grow the plants in tissue culture. In agriculture university and all, tissue culture is done there. Herbarium is also there. Arboretum is for trees and particularly in botanical garden you have all this one. And gene bank, again, gene bank can be done for plants also and animals also, both can be done. So here the answer will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. D as an answer. Here the answer will be D. All of these are correct. Right? All of these are correct. D will be the answer. Alright. So I hope that I am taking the previous question so that you are aware of it. Anyway, what I'll do right now, we will now see now what I'm going to do in the classroom is that I have given you the division of the classification part. Now after the break, I'll give you a break here. Now after the break, we'll go into the topic of national park, sanctuary and biosphere reserve. Now we'll see the differences. Okay, what are differences between biosphere reserve, national park, sanctuary, what do you mean by community reserve, conservation reserve and protected forest, reserved forest. So we'll now go into the detailed part of this one. I'm going to cover the detailed part of in situ conservation and we'll take examples. We will learn through examples here. Right? This will be our next topic where we will understand all these areas there. Right? So I'm giving you a small break. Let's have a break because without a break you will not be satisfied. So that's what I'm giving you a break there. Right? So let's have a break for 10 minutes and then after the break we'll start with the detailed part of in situ conservation. Alright? Is it clear here? So let's have a small break. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Am I audible there? Am I audible now? Can you hear me right now? Am I audible right now? Okay, I'll repeat what I've said. I'm going to repeat what I've said there. Now you all can hear me that. The question which I gave before the break time, where you have cryopreservation, tissue culture, right, then the part of arboretum, the answer will be all. Here the answer will be all of this. See, cryopreservation, seed bank, we can go for conservation, right? Arboretums are trees, so we can go for conservation. like botanical garden and all, right? At the same time, tissue culture. What is tissue culture? Artificial medium. In the lab, we have artificial medium where we grow the growing tissue of the trees and plants, and we can grow in the artificial culture what is called tissue culture, right? Botany, in botany and all we do that. Agriculture university we do that. Gene bank. Gene bank is not only for animals, right, DNA or gene, but is also for plants. Gene bank can be both animals and plants, right? That's what the question what I gave here. Right, somebody was in the response chat was saying that answer there. The answer what I gave here, the answer is all of this. Cryopreservation, seed bank, tissue culture, herbarium, arboretum, right, and also gene bank. Gene bank is for trees and plants also. The answer is D. D for Delhi. The answer will be D. D for Delhi there, right? Is it clear, everybody? All of you are right, you all can understand now, all right. Clear with the question? That question it is clear now? See, I am giving you time from my own end, right? I am giving time from my own level to give you answer of all the things, and I will be repeating again and again so that you are able to write. Last class also I have written alpha, beta, gamma and all this I have repeated there. But again, I have a request to everyone that please open the Vision IS study material. Please open the material and try to read there. Whenever you are coming to a new class, please read and come to the class. Right? That's the way you have to do. But again, the question what came. Now what I am coming here. We'll now come to the conservation part. But before I go to that, a few of the students are asking me that what are the significance of biodiversity mapping. Yesterday in the classroom, I gave you the homework assignment. I gave a very simple question. But I know what is the problem here? Spoon feeding. You have a habit of spoon feeding. सब कुछ बना बनाया ready made मिल जाए. You don't want to use your brain, right? I'm sorry to say, but this is the fact. But still you are, पता नहीं. So you want that everything has to be, provided, everything aspect of that. अपना भी तो मेहनत करना है. You have to also work hard, right? So anyway, this nowadays the situation there that Vision IS takes care of everything, right? It takes care of all of you. So I will not make you unhappy, right? Significance of biodiversity mapping, I'll give you answer that also. Let everybody be happy, right? So let me give you the answer also. Let me do that also. Since I said last class that I'll tell you the answer, so since I will not tell you the answer, then you have grievance in your heart. सर ने आंसर नहीं बताया, सर ने वो biodiversity mapping का significance नहीं बताया. So let me tell you that also. All right. So the significance of biodiversity mapping is that this alpha, beta, gamma or richness, evenness, it gives us the understanding of a biodiversity of an area, of a geographical area. Right? There we get to know that. Right? What is this? First is that we know what is the increase and decrease in number of species over an interval of time. Right? Over an interval of time. How the number of species increases or decreases if we do the biodiversity measurement or mapping of that area. Biodiversity measurement also gives us an idea about the number of threatened species. Those species which are threatened are on brink to extinction. Through biodiversity mapping, we can find out where they are found in the habitats, where they are found in the ecosystems. There may be sometime rare species, there may be sometime endemic, only found in that local area, only found in that area, nowhere else. So through the mapping, we get to find out the part of it. Let me do that also. कुछ लोग है ना स्पून फीडिंग की आदत है, केवल बोल दूंगा तो काम नहीं चलेगा. if I just simply give you the answer, sir has not given us written part, because there are some students who have a habit of cribbing. So let me satisfy it. Let me satisfy everyone, right? So that you don't have anything in your heart. So I'll give you a point in written form. So you can write that. Write the significance of this biodiversity mapping, you can write that. Let me provide here. So those who are interested can write that. Let me give you the point here. Then I'll come to national park and all those areas there. You can write in your. So significance of what I gave last class, the homework assignment there, measurement part of it. So what is first part? First part is that it provides insight or understanding of biodiversity of a geographical area. Of a geographical area. That this is the first part, you can write in your answer there. Right? Geographical area. Second comes here, it provides information about number of threatened species. Right? Found in a landscape or in an ecosystem, let's say in an ecosystem or a landscape or a geographical area. Right? Third, biodiversity mapping provides information about trend, right? Whether it is increasing or decreasing over an interval of time. Of rare or endemic, which is found in that area, or threatened. That can be plant as well as animal. Let's say elephant, tiger, Asiatic lion, rhinoceros, whatever species can be there. So that information can be gathered through this kind of a method of biodiversity mapping there. Right? Over an interval of time there. Right? Fourth, what you can write? Fourth point can be what? It also helps us in planning conservation strategies. We can also plan conservation strategies for threatened species found in such habitats. Right? That can be done there. If we know the part of it, we can have the conservation part of it. Right? It assists the census exercise, like census of tiger or rhinoceros, whatever may be that. It helps in that census exercise also there. Right? I hope this is clear. Is it clear, everybody? All of you are clear with this part? Are you all able to see the notes here? So yesterday's assignment question which I gave there, significance of that. See, you can write so many points. There is not a 1 or 2 points. You can write so many points there. Yes, Anju, you are right. Sustainable use of resource, that can also be there. There can be number of things which you can write in your answer there, right? You can always write a part of it, right? These all things are there where you can write in the answer. Whenever the question comes in the main exam, you will be able to write the answers on that, right? Now let's see here. I will just move further here. It also helps us, right? Is assist in census exercise of wildlife. Like in India, we have, for example, let's say tiger census, or let's say elephant census. Again, that can be done through biodiversity mapping there. Right, when we say about threatened species here, when you're talking about threatened species here, we are referring to what? We are referring to this IUCN Red Data Book, what we have discussed last class. IUCN Red Data Book, we can have all this information, right? So this is the way, see, when it comes in the exam, when you have to write in the exam, this is the way you have to go on, right? This is the way the question, when it comes to the question answer writing there, you have to provide this kind of part of there, right? What I've just mentioned right now. The last class which I gave you, and you have to give answer there. You have to provide with answer here. You have to go with the answer here. The question what I gave in the assignment, this is how you have to go ahead with that. You can write more points on that. This is the few points, 5 points I have given them. Yes, Pooja, you are also right. Research can be done on the reasons of extinction of species. Yes. Right? You are right there. Research can also be done. There's so many things can be done if we know the biodiversity mapping. Biodiversity mapping really helps us get a good understanding of conservation status of that area. What Pooja has written there, research can be done on the reasons of extinction of species. We can find out the cause of extinction of species. Why there is a loss of the species, we can get to understand that. Yes, Anshul has also given the answer there. It helps in knowing the unique habitat of different species, yes. Whether it is a grassland or wetland or forest, yes, you're right. Anshul is also right. Alright. So anyway, awareness about activities of human, yes. Shraddha, you are also right. You are very correct. Yes, you are very correct. What you are saying, that is really correct there. Alright. So now I'll come to the whiteboard. This part I have given there. Now I will be coming to the whiteboard. Let's now come to the whiteboard part of it, right? Now let's understand here. I am now coming to the whiteboard here to make you understand. So it's good that you have asked the question, say, I am always there to help you out. Say, it is nothing like something that the teacher don't want to give any kind of way, right? I am always there to help you out, right? It is not that the teacher does not understand needs of the students. I understand you very well. right? I can understand the psychology of all the batch. By your response, I can get to understand who is at what level, right? So that's what I said. You have to go with the flow of the class, whatever I'm teaching there, and then you have to revise. So now what I'm coming here, I'm coming to a very important part. I've said that I'll come to the in situ part of it, right? Biodiversity conservation part, in situ part of it. So let us understand here. We have laws in India. This law will be getting to more detailed part of it. It's a Wildlife Protection Act. Right? This act was Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Right? Now under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, there is a provision, right? Here we have a provision for sanctuary and national park. Right? There is a provision of sanctuary and national park given under the law. Right? Section 18 comes to the wildlife protection, this sanctuary and all, and then you will find section 35 defines the national park. Right? Then this was amended, right? There was amendment to this act, the Wildlife Protection Amendment Act. This was Amendment Act was passed in 2002. Right? It was amended there. In the Amendment Act here, it provided two concepts, what is called community reserve. Right? We will discuss in the classroom. We will be discussing that is what is community reserve and the concept of conservation reserve. Now another thing, there was also amendment. Government of India brought another law, right? There was another law called here, which is under this part, where comes Tiger Reserve. When you come to NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Reserve, National Tiger Conservation Authority. For Project Tiger, right? For Project Tiger, we have a body called as a NTCA. National Tiger Conservation Authority, NTCA. It was set up in 2006. In 2006, this for Project Tiger, for protection of tiger species in India, NTCA was set up by the central government, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in 2006. And NTCA again comes under the Wildlife Protection Act. There was separate law. There was enactment, right? A separate enactment, and 2006 Tiger Reserve, the concept of Tiger Reserve was brought, right? And brought into this one. Amendment Act of 2002 brought the concept of community reserve, conservation reserve. We'll get to understand what is community reserve, what is conservation reserve. I'll explain there. First, I'm giving you from where the law comes, what comes under the law for in situ conservation. But now, whenever we come across the word biosphere reserve, which is ecosystem based conservation, which is ecological system based conservation, biosphere reserve is not defined. Biosphere reserve is not defined under Wildlife Protection Act. Right? Biosphere reserve is the concept has come from UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. There is an international program called MAB, Man and Biosphere Program, which defines biosphere reserve. And Government of India, being a member of that particular party, member party of that program, we are declaring, the central government declares biosphere reserves. And there are 18 biosphere reserves. So when we come to biosphere reserve, so this comes under the UNESCO. Under the UNESCO Man and Biosphere Program of 1971, there it is a provision of a biosphere reserve. We'll see what comes into that. Biosphere reserve concept comes into that context there. In India, central government has notified 18 biosphere reserve. We have 18 in number. We have 18 biosphere reserve. One eight. But if you look at sanctuaries here, bird sanctuary, wildlife sanctuaries, marine sanctuaries, we have more than 500. National parks, we have around 110, we have national parks. right? Again, now community conservation reserves have come there. Now UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, which is a scientific program, is an international scientific program where central government notifies the biosphere reserve, whereas state government and central government both can declare sanctuary and national park, because wildlife, when it comes to wildlife is in concurrent list, right? The concept of wildlife today in India comes under 7th schedule in your Indian polity, Constitution of India. The 7th schedule is based on union list, concurrent list and state list, law making powers. So wildlife, the subject of wildlife, 1976 their amendment, it was brought to the concurrent list from state list. It was earlier with state list, then it was brought to concurrent list, where now both union government, central government, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the state government both can notify, both can declare national parks and sanctuaries. I am giving you very, very important information. Many students, they read some kind of wrong information, wrong website, wrong study material, and they do the mistake in the exam. Sometimes questions are based on law also there. The detailed part of provisions of Wildlife Protection Act, I will also discuss that. Don't worry about that. But here I am talking from in situ conservation. I am here discussing from in situ conservation. So the subject of wildlife comes under concurrent list, right? It comes under concurrent list. Wildlife is in concurrent list. Both central government, state government can legislate on the subject matter of wildlife. State has been given power. Under the federal aspect, state has got the power, right? Environment as a subject is a very dynamic subject. Every area of your general studies, whether economy, history, geography, polity, science and technology, you take any subject, all things comes into the subject of environment and ecology. So again the constitution, we have that part of Article 48A, DPSP, Directive Principal State Policy, which says the states shall protect the wildlife and the forest. Article 21, Fundamental Right to Life, Supreme Court of India, under number of PIL, public interest litigations, number of cases filed in the apex court, has held that right to healthy environment is also a fundamental right. Article 21. There have been number of cases, like you know that Bhopal gas tragedy, MC Mehta, Mahesh Chandra Mehta, and versus Union of India. You will find number of legal cases are there, right? Oleum gas leak case, then Bhopal gas tragedy case, even in terms of number of wildlife protection part of it, right? So we have a very strong law in the country. Wildlife Protection Act is an umbrella law which looks into every aspect of wildlife. But again I am repeating here, Biosphere Reserve, the concept of Biosphere Reserve, that is under UNESCO program, and Indian government being a member party to this international program declares the Biosphere Reserve in India. Whereas when it comes to sanctuary and national park, that is clearly mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It's clearly mentioned in the law. Later on 2002 we have amended to bring about Conservation Reserve, Community Reserve, plus NTCA for Project Tiger, conservation of tiger and tiger reserves. Right here the concept of tiger reserve comes there, right? For conservation, that comes from a project called Project Tiger. 1973 Government of India started Project Tiger and the Tiger Reserve. That's where the NTCA comes, right? You will many times in current affairs you will read about NTCA. Now with respect to introduction of cheetah, African cheetah to India, again NTCA is looking into that. So wild cats in India, so tiger, here tiger case comes into that. But for elephants, if we take example of elephants, we have elephant reserves. Elephant reserve which central government declares still has to get legal status, because elephant reserve and any authority to deal with elephant, see the authority to deal with tigers in India is a NTCA, which is based under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. But for elephants, elephant reserves, which central government notifies, we don't have the provision under the existing Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Right? Now, apart from that, what I said, we have a forest laws in India. One is the Britishers. Britishers passed the law, what is called as the Indian Forest Act 1927, because British wanted to control forest resources. Right? That was the British time. After independence, we made amendment to that act. But Government of India also brought Forest Conservation Act 1980, which is the year of enactment of the law, Forest Conservation Act 1980, 1980, where we are protecting the forest. And then later on, the rights of the people, rights of the community, rights of the indigenous tribe who depends on forest. Central government enacted another law in the year 2006, what is called scheduled tribes and other forest dwellers Recognition of Rights Act 2006. What is the full name of the act? Scheduled Tribes and Other Forest Dwellers Recognition of Their Rights Act 2006, which is also called as FRA, Forest Rights Act 2006. So we have in our country forest laws, Indian Forest Act and with amendments right from British time. Then 2006, the new law FRA, Scheduled Tribes and Other Forest Dwellers Act, and then Forest Conservation Act 1980. And there we have provisions of protected forest, reserved forest. I'll give you a difference. What is the difference between protected forest and reserved forest? We will learn in the classroom. What is the difference between community reserve, conservation reserve? We will learn in the classroom. What is the difference between national park or sanctuary and biosphere reserve? We will learn in the classroom. I am going to teach you, don't worry. I am going to teach you every aspect of it. But first time I am trying to make you understand. So we have a forest laws in India where we have such kind of provisions there. But for wildlife, these are the provisions there. Alright. Now what will come here? I will now come to the difference between sanctuary, national park and biosphere reserve. We will first learn about sanctuary, national park, biosphere reserve. I will go in a sequential order. I will go in a sequence. This part is clear, my explanation part. Are you able to understand this? Are you able to understand this? Now I will go to detailed part of it. I will now go into the detailed part of it. Right? But if you have understood here what I have drawn on the whiteboard, then if you have understood here, then I will go to the part of man and biosphere, that is the MAB. Alright, now look at here. Now just first let me explain here. Let me first explain something and then you will be able to understand here. Now look at here. Sanctuaries. Now first understand sanctuaries here. Right? What is sanctuary? Section 18. Section 18 provides that state government, right, by notification, gazette notification, can declare any such area which is a reserved forest or a territorial water as sanctuary, which has adequate ecological, faunal and floral, geomorphological, natural or geological significance to protect, propagate and develop wildlife and its environment, right? And it is sufficient to describe area by roads, river, ridges, other well known part of it. And in the state there is a post of wildlife warden. The chief wildlife warden is there. And chief wildlife warden can give permission, can grant permission to enter or live in a sanctuary. See here, to enter or reside in a sanctuary right? And that can be for investigation, study of wildlife, it can be for photographic, scientific research, it can be for tourism, it can be for lawful business inside sanctuary, right? And there is always there can be a park, sometimes the road pass through that, right, within the limit, person having a immovable limit dependent on that. And there is a, see there is a case also there, Jamnagar, that in Gujarat, Gujarat Navodaya Mandal versus state. What this government has said, Gujarat High Court observed that there is nothing illegal in giving permission to lay down pipeline in and through the Marine National Park Sanctuary in Jamnagar, right? Because under the law, if you see here, court will always look into the law, and the law, like here, Chief Wildlife Warden, if there is an application, can allow some kind of a lawful business within the sanctuary there. And also their public servant, there can be property or something, sanctuary is there, person living in that. There is a case law there. Now national park, if you look at national park here, now see very clearly, state government. You should not get carried away by the word that national park by national central government and sanctuary by state government. आजकल कई नए नए टीचर बन गए हैं ना, hey guys, what's up, and so you'll find YouTube. They may not give you the legal definition of that. So I'm just trying to make you understand that you should have the clarity, you should know as what is given in the law. National park can also be there, can be done by state government. Both central government and state government have powers. Now see what is given here. Once a national park is declared, no alteration of the boundaries shall be made except by law. Law passed by the state. Why law passed by the state? Then only the boundary can be changed, because land is the subject of state government. Land is the subject of state government, right? And all these are prohibited, strictly prohibited. Highest protection is given to national park, right? Like destroying, exploring or removing any wildlife, damaging the habitat, depriving any wild animals, grazing of livestock, all these are prohibited in a national park, right? Is it clear, everyone? Are you able to understand here? Now I'll come to the whiteboard. I'll give you the information on the whiteboard, right? Now let's come to the whiteboard part of it. So I'm cleaning the whiteboard here. Now let's look at here. So first let's come to the difference of that, right? The difference of that. So what is the difference between national park, sanctuary and biosphere reserve, right? I'm bringing in a tabular form, which you can copy that. You can copy in your note copy. So I'm giving here in a tabular form, you can copy this one. So now look at here. So I'm giving here the first one, the heading is sanctuary. Right? The first heading I have given sanctuary here. Then national park. Same way you can write in your note copy there. And then biosphere reserve. Right? And point wise, I'll give you the differences in point wise here. Right? I have made a tabular form here. So I'll just give you the differences here. Right? I'll put across all the points. Please copy this. Whatever I'm writing on the board, you can copy that. What is sanctuary here? Sanctuary is here protection of species here, right? It can be plants, animals, right? Together with its environment here, right? Species here. Like for example, you have a bird sanctuary for birds, for wildlife sanctuary. So all these are there. For example, bird sanctuary for different type of birds. You have bird sanctuary there. Then there for wildlife, the different wildlife sanctuaries are there. marine sanctuary also there. Like for example, you are aware that olive ridley turtle, right, which come for mass nesting to Gahir Matha Marine Sanctuary. That is in Odisha. Odisha has got that. Odisha state government has declared that for conservation of marine turtles, sea turtles there. Then comes here what? Here, highest protection is given to national park. That is here, protection of against species, particular type of animals, right, particular animals and plants which requires more protection there. I'll change the marker there, plants and animals, such as, let's say for example, you have, let's say for example, in context of wildlife here, let's say for example tiger, let's say tiger, right, or let's say for example one horn rhino, Kaziranga National Park in Assam, one horn rhino, Kaziranga National Park there. Then you know Asiatic lion, Gir forest in Gujarat, like that is for Asiatic lion. India is the only home of Asiatic lion. No country in the world has got Asiatic lion except in India. And there was a time when Asiatic lion was found in good numbers in the central part of the country, like Madhya Pradesh and MP area. But because of the disease, viral infection, epidemics, lack of prey base, food, habitat destruction, Asiatic lion became lost from the central part of the country. Only left over to the Gir forest, Girnar forest of Gujarat. Now since conservation of Asiatic lion, right, by Gujarat government and the central government, now we want to resettle lion back to central India. There is a place called Kuno Palpur. Kuno, there is a place in Madhya Pradesh, which is going to be second home of Asiatic lion. So here the focus on lion, Kaziranga, which is on the bank of Brahmaputra river, Manas, tributary of Brahmaputra river in Assam, greater one horn rhinoceros. Right, we have a project for rhinos there. So there the national park is the Kaziranga National Park, right, one horn rhinoceros protection there. All right, the focus is there on the animal. Highest protection in India is on the national park. Now what is the part of biosphere reserve? That is the ecosystem approach. What is here? Ecosystem approach. Large area which may comprise of not one state, sometime maybe adjoining states, like Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. 3 states come, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala. So here, if you take about the Biosphere Reserve, so what is the Biosphere Reserve? So it is a here protection of terrestrial or marine, even it can be marine also there, marine ecosystem with its unique, is a scientific program that UNESCO, unique genetic diversity, gene pool, genetic varieties together with human cultural values. That is where it is called Man and Biosphere Program. Man and Biosphere Program, right? And it comes under this, what I mentioned, UNESCO program, right? UNESCO Man and Biosphere Program, right? UNESCO Man and Biosphere Program. So there the concept, biosphere reserve is a concept of ecosystem, is an ecosystem based concept. Nanda Devi, Sundarban, Nilgiri, all these are ecosystem based approach. Now coming to the second difference here. Number 2. Sanctuary can be declared here, declared both by state government, both by state government and central government. Both central government and the state government has powers under the Wildlife Protection Act to declare sanctuaries. Same here. It can be declared both by state government and central government. Now tell me here, if I ask a question here, where the sanctuaries can be declared by central government? Sanctuaries I am talking about. Union territory, UTs, Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Chandigarh, Daman and Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep. The central government has the rule, and central government can notify sanctuaries there, wildlife sanctuary, bird sanctuary and all this. But here, who notifies biosphere reserve? Biosphere reserve is only and only notified by the central government, not the state government. Right? So here, second point is that it is notified by central government only. Right? It is notified by the central government. Biosphere reserve is notified by the central government. Declared by the central government only. State government doesn't have the power for biosphere reserve. Government only. Right? Now what I am coming, the third point. Third very important point. Human activities. In terms of controlling human activities. Economic use of resources. In sanctuary, Chief Wildlife Warden can permit certain economic activities to take place within the sanctuary. Sometimes there may be villages, sometimes there may be local communities who may be living inside the sanctuary. Right? But in national park, when it comes to national park, human settlement is removed from the national park. Because national park gets highest protection. Highest protection is given to national parks. Sometimes you will find a sanctuary gets upgraded to national park. Like Gir Sanctuary for Asiatic lion in Gujarat, then it was made, declared as a national park. Gir National Park. Right? Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary in Bharatpur district of Rajasthan. It has also been notified as Kevla Dev Ghana National Park, which is known for Siberian crane. Right? So here, what comes here? Here limited. In sanctuary, limited biotic interference is allowed. The boundaries, the outer boundaries are marked. Right? So that is limited. Sometimes you have now read in the newspaper, the Hindu paper, that a road passing by a sanctuary, and because of movement of buses or vehicles there, that caused disturbance to the wild animals. And there have been cases in the court to stop movement of vehicles passing through that sanctuary. Like Wayanad in Kerala. Right, there is a Bandipur National Park, and again the nearby area is a very important area, forest area, and known for number of wildlife. You have a tiger, elephant, all these are found in that area. So there are a lot of this area comes in there. Controversy comes in terms of sanctuary there. But when you have a national park, utmost protection is given. So what is here? In case of third point in the national park. So third point in the national park is that in this context here, human activities are controlled. Right? Human activities are controlled there. So human economic use activities are prohibited. Nobody can collect any kind of biomass, right? And no human settlement can be there. But now it has also become challenged, because already there may be certain type of community living inside the national park. There may be sometimes people living near around national park. and their livelihood depends on the national park. Sometimes maybe primitive tribe, indigenous tribe, and now under FRA, Forest Rights Act, they've been given right to settle. So you have to be, again, there is some challenging here. What I means here, human activities are prohibited means no biomass collection. You cannot collect any kind of resources there. Right? No biomass collection. Right? From inside the national park. So the forest department regulate. You cannot cut tree or timber or any biological resource. You cannot take it out. That is all controlled. Only, tourism is allowed, where one goes to the safari, tiger or elephant, whatever may be, the safari comes into that. Now what comes here, third one? See what happens here in the case of sanctuary, only the outer boundary is marked. Outer boundary is marked by law, right? But there may be settlement there, sometimes there may be inside the settlement. What happens in case of national park here? If you take here national park, what happens in national park? You have here provision of there is something called your core area, and outside the core area you have buffer area. Core and buffer. Where the economic use happens, where the people are settled in buffer area. Where the human settlements are there, human settlement are in buffer area. You will find outside the core area. Core area is critical wildlife habitat. This core area is called critical. It is called critical wildlife habitat. This for protection of the animal or plant, whatever may be that. The core area is declared in the national park for, let's say, rhinoceros or Asiatic lion or whichever species are there. So there is a critical wildlife habitat. That is the core area. And economic use cannot be there inside the national park. Where the economic use happens, outside, that is in buffer zone, where you have a human settlement. Now what comes here is a scientific program, man and biosphere program. There is a biosphere reserve, is a man and biosphere program. Now what happens here in this case? Here human activities are plus scientific research. So here it is for sustainable, right? Sustainable use and management. Man and Biosphere program promotes scientific research of the unique genetic pool, gene pool, found in that particular ecosystem where the biosphere reserve is notified. So here sustainable use and management of biosphere reserve by 3 zones. By 3 zones are there. Under the imbalance biosphere, 3 zones are there. Now what are the zone here? You have a core zone, core area. Then outside the core area you have a buffer area, buffer zone, and then outermost of a biosphere reserve is called transition area. I will again repeat. For sustainable use and management of biosphere reserve, it is divided into 3 zones: core, buffer, transition. TRANSITION, transition. Now here, where the settlement can be there, settlement can be in buffer, or you will find the human settlement will be in the transition zone. You will find in the transition zone, not in the core area. Now what is the use of core area? Now see here. I have given an arrow here. For what core area is there? Core area is for scientific research. It is used for scientific research and conservation. Whatever the landscape is there and the species are found, their conservation and scientific research, that happens in core zone. Now what is the use of buffer zone? of the biosphere reserve? The buffer zone. Right? The buffer zone, which is outside the core zone. Now buffer zone is for here monitoring of research. Monitoring of research. Whatever scientific research is there, that is monitored. Monitoring of research, training purpose. It is used for training and education purpose. I repeat, buffer area which adjoins the core area. In a biosphere reserve, outside core area will be buffer zone. And now buffer zone is used for monitoring of research, training and education. Now transition area. Where is transition area? This is transition area. Outside is the transition area. This is the transition area. Outermost area is the transition area. Now here transition area, that is a economic use. All the local community which are living there, their agriculture, their all their practices, sustainable, right, use. Right? Sustainable use of resources here. So whatever the local communities who live there for their farming, agriculture, right, Nanda Devi, Nilgiri, Sundarban, this all happens in transition area. Sustainable use of resources, that is in the transition zone, and transition zone is the outermost part. Now let's look at here tourism. So in sanctuary tourism is allowed. In sanctuary tourism is allowed, right? Now in national park again tourism is allowed, but it is controlled by the government. Government control the tourism, safari and all this. Tourism is allowed. Now what about the biosphere reserve? See, biosphere reserve is a large area. Biosphere reserve is a large area. 5,000 square kilometer. Sometimes it can extend to 7,000 square kilometer. Large geographical area, landscape. That is a biosphere reserve. Within the biosphere reserve, you may have national parks and sanctuary. Within the biosphere reserve. Then the rules of national park and sanctuary will be applied. But the certain core area, there will be certain core area inside the biosphere reserve. And those core areas are for scientific research, conducting scientific research there of the genetic pool, flora and fauna which is found there. Right? So what is very important here in biosphere reserve, that tourism is not allowed in the core area. Where do you have tourism in the core area? Safari and all that, like tiger reserve or national park. There you have in the core area where you go in a safari, you see the tiger or elephant, whatever, and you come out. But in biosphere reserve, there the core area, because biosphere reserve is controlled and managed by the central government. You cannot have tourism in the core area of biosphere reserve. I'll repeat again. There is no tourism allowed in the core area of biosphere reserve. Right? So here, tourism not allowed. So fourth point here, those who cannot see, I'm reading out also there. Tourism is not allowed. You require permission by the central government. Right? And in the core area, tourism will not be allowed. But where in national park, you have a safari and all, where tourism is allowed, but in a controlled manner. Right? So tourism is not allowed in the core zone. Outside it can happen there. Right? In the core area, core zone, tourism is not allowed. Tourism in biosphere reserve happens in transition area. If you want to go into the core area of a biosphere reserve, then you require special permission from the government, central government. Right? So please write it down. Last line you are not able to see. In biosphere reserve, tourism is not allowed in core zone. Because you know that, I know that your batch, there may be some kind of students, they will creep about, sir, dikh nahi raha hai niche. I think now it is visible. नहीं तो मैं बोल देता हूँ. The fourth point I have given, tourism is not allowed in core zone in the biosphere topic. Please write that. Please write. Pollution and all will be controlled. In tourism, so in transition area of biosphere reserve, mining will not be allowed. Mining will not be allowed. Then even pollution will not be allowed in transition zone. In transition zone, mining, pollution, all this will be not allowed. They will not be allowed in the transition area there. Right? In transition area it will not be allowed. Now let's see here. You'll get a better clarity there. Have you all written there? I'll just wait for everyone to write. I want everybody to copy this. Have you all copied it? Alright, just watch this documentary.
This is Julie. She likes to spend the holidays visiting her Uncle George on his farm. She's heard that the entire region where her uncle lives has just been selected by UNESCO as a designated biosphere reserve. Julie isn't too sure about that. What exactly is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve? Is it something like an Indian reservation? And will they be putting a fence around it? Then she probably wouldn't be allowed to roam around the woods and fields anymore. And Uncle George might have to get rid of his tractor and use a carriage instead. Uncle George can put his niece's mind at rest. He explains that a biosphere reserve helps humans and the environment to get along better. And it does so without damaging the lovely landscape. It doesn't need fences, just well-balanced interaction between humans and nature. Uncle George has also discovered some advantages for himself, such as opportunities to make his farm even more profitable, and this in ways that benefit nature and the region. For Uncle George, not much has changed, and Julie can continue to explore the woods and fields. But something is different. Julie is curious to find out what. The Biosphere Reserve now offers lots of new activities. Julie and other visitors can explore the area with a ranger or follow adventure trails to learn exciting facts about animals and plants. Of course, the local hotels, restaurants and tradespeople benefit from the visitors, so any doubts among the population are quickly dispelled. Many are seeing the advantages and forming corporations so that they can also participate actively in the development of the Biosphere Reserve. Julie thinks biosphere reserves are great and is almost a bit envious of her uncle because he gets to work where other people spend their holidays. And because businesses can develop so well in biosphere reserves, she might find a job there herself one day. Why not visit a biosphere reserve near you sometime? There are more of them than you think.
Right, biosphere reserve you have seen in the documentary. Please copy this whiteboard. Please copy the whiteboard. If you have copied it, please respond to me. I'll clean the whiteboard to go to the next concept. Have you all copied the whiteboard? So I want everybody to copy the whiteboard. If anybody miss out from the points, you are always free to go to recorded video and note down the points. So I am cleaning the whiteboard here. Now let's come to the point of here another very important concept I am coming here, that is called ESZ, eco-sensitive zone. Let us understand here one very important concept called ESZ. Eco-sensitive zone, the ESZ concept. This concept in India has been brought forward by Dr. Madhav Gadgil's committee report on Western Ghat. Is based on recommendation of Dr. Madhav Gadgil's report. Dr. Madhav Gadgil is an eminent ecologist of India who was given the task to study the Western Ghats. Western Ghats of India starts from the border of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. 6 states are there. And for that, Dr. Madhav Gadgil report was there, which was reviewed by Dr. Kasturi Rangan on the protection of Western Ghat. And Dr. Madhav Gadgil came out with this concept of ESZ. So here, based on recommendation of Dr. Madhav Gadgil's report on Western Ghat, on the protection of Western Ghat. Where the concept of ESZ was brought. Now here, very important point is that, what is first important point of ESZ is that, it is not notified under Wildlife Protection Act. It is notified under, we have another very important law in the country, what is called Environment Protection Act. We have for protection of environment, we have an act in the country, Environment Protection Act 1986. This concept of ESZ, remember it, I am repeating again. The concept of ESZ as put forward by Dr. Madhav Gadgil's report on Western Ghat has been notified by the central government under Environment Protection Act 1986, under the EPA, not under Wildlife Protection Act, not under Wildlife Protection Act, under the Environment Protection Act. Under Environment Protection Act, for any matter pertaining to environment, central government under section 3, there is a section called section 3, under the Environment Protection Act, central government is empowered to bring about any rules or any kind of law or any kind of guideline, right? That is possible there. So here it comes under Environment Protection Act 1986. Now what is ESZ? Right? What is ESZ? Okay, somebody is saying that they are not able to see recommendation. So I'll just, let me see here. Recommendation, achha, that logo is coming anyway. I have written here based on recommendation of OF, because the logo is there, that's why you are not able to see that. Recommendation of Dr. Madhav Gadgil, apostrophe S, report on the protection of Western Ghats. Is it clear now? Those who cannot see what is after recommendation, so I am reading that. Recommendation of Dr. Madhav Gadgi's report on the protection of whistleblower. Now let's come to here. Now where the ESZ declared? ESZ is declared outside boundaries, right? Outside boundaries of the national park. To give more protection, for that, outside the boundary of national park or wildlife sanctuary. In more general case, it can go up to 10 kilometers, right? Up to 10 kilometers. But in some cases, it can go beyond 10 kilometers also there. The state government can notify 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. And in some exceptional circumstances, it can go beyond 10 kilometers. In general 10 kilometers, but in some cases it can go more than 10 kilometers as well. That you have to know that. Now what happens here? Here economic activities are controlled. People are living there. So that means you have here, let's say, national park or maybe here wildlife sanctuary, and they're outside. This ESZ is created. Right? So human settlements are there. People live there. Outside that, the people are not removed. They may be living outside here. They are the part of this area there. They will not be removed from there. They live there. Sometimes in urban area. Bangalore, I'll give you example. Bangalore, Banerghata. In Bangalore, 45-50 kilometers in the Bangalore city, there is a Banerghata National Park. Now outside Banerghata, this ESZ has been notified. Mumbai, Borivali, there is a place, Borivali, in western suburb, Borivali. Those of you who are from Mumbai or have visited Mumbai, you may be knowing that. In Borivali, there is a very famous national park called Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Sanjay Gandhi National Park, Borivali. Now outside there again, ESZ has been notified. Bandipur Tiger Reserve, Karnataka. Outside ESZ has been notified. Right? Many ESZs have been notified even in the cities and urban areas. Now what happens here? Now understand here. There will be something which will be allowed, something which will require permission, and something prohibited. So here it includes prohibited activities. In such area, what are the prohibited activities which cannot take place in ESZ? Which is not allowed. What is not allowed? Mining is not allowed. Right? Quarrying will not be allowed. Sandstone quarrying and all this. Then again here, felling of trees will not be allowed. That means you require permission. Another thing, very, very important one which I am writing here, thermal power plant. Thermal power plant which will pollute the environment. Because thermal power plant burn the coal, fossil fuel. Coal, burning of coal generates carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide. It pollutes the environment. So thermal power plant, polluting industries, all this will be banned. They will be not allowed. Then what comes here? Regulated activities which require permission. They are controlled with the permissions. Which require permission there. Permission of the government. Which require permission. What are those activities? So here the activities are like hotels. Hotel, restaurant, then resort, right? Then here laying of wires, laying of cables, felling of trees, You require permission for that, right? Now, which all activities will be allowed where you don't require permission? You don't require permission of the central government or state government, where the activities are allowed activities, right? No permission required. Where the local people don't have to take permission. It is allowed by the government and people can do that one, do those activities. These are their agriculture. If they are having farming there, so they'll continue to have agriculture, their horticulture, aquaculture. Government can promote organic farming. Organic farming can be done. Now in terms of power project, renewable energy project, solar power, wind power, right, renewable energy project can be allowed. For all these kind of activities, the local community does not require permission. They don't require permission of that. Like solar park, wind park, wind energy can be done in the SEZ, or sorry, ESZ. What is it? ESZ. So please copy this one. Kindly copy this. Yes, you can say buffer zone. Purvi Saxena. It can be said as the buffer zone. It is outside that area, but it is a part of the buffer zone. It is extended from the boundary. Right? It is extended from the boundary. But again remember that land is a state subject. Land is a state subject. State government permission is required. That is true, but again that is again based on the government. Sakshi Dwivedi, that windmill and all, again it is again considered by the government whether it can be there or not, right? Where the state government has to see that. Have you all copied it? Have you all copied it? All right, guys. Now, what you can see here is that this ESZ part, you all have copied it here. Again, the government requires the control everything there. Yeah, there are issues there. Sometimes there may be mining also there. There may be sometimes mining may be also taking place there. There may be mining also happening in the ESZ part. But this all will be banned. It can result into some economic loss to the state government. But again, the government can control that. Government can ban that. Right? Government can control that. See, what happens here is that sometimes there may be earlier mining activities happening here. Like Goa, I'll give you example of Goa. Goa is a small state, and Goa is known for mining operation. Iron ore, manganese mining is there. So when you declare ESZ, that mining has to stop. And mining, again the government has to see that. The notification, I am just simply saying notification. When the central government notified the ESZ, it allowed renewable energy project. But you are very correct, the windmill will affect the birds, or some kind of migratory birds or something will be affected there. And that can be lost to that area. Right? Again the tribal ministry and all can also, so there are again challenging issues are there. All what I am discussing that is not a very easy part of, there are challenges also there. And again ESZ in urban areas, where you have urban areas, let's say Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, again you are controlling the activities around that national park and sanctuary, right? So it should not lead to the conflict. One end you have to protect the wildlife. One point is that you have to protect the wildlife. And second side is that you have to also look into the human needs, human development. So you have to have a balance, sustainability. There has to be sustainable development. That where human activities are also regulated, and same time the protection of the nature, protection of the environment, protection of the wild animals, that also has to be done there. So it results into some conflicting situation. And government has the power to amend. Who can amend the law? Who can do the amendment of the rules? The government can do, central government can do the amendment. Can add here, see, the list of activities which I have given can be again amended. The central government under the Environment Protection Act 1986 make amendment to the notification, gadget notification, can make changes and can also include or exclude projects. You know, sometimes ease of doing business, this Modi government, that is current BJP government, to promote ease of doing business. Adani, Ambani, all these big players may sometime amend the rules for those kind of corporates, multinational companies, to take the projects there. Again, the entire power lie in the hand of the central government. Ki what type of projects will be done, what type of project will be not allowed. Again, those changes can be made, and it has resulted into controversies. It has resulted into problems. Tourism will be affected. But again, what is said here? Regulated. I have very clearly written on the whiteboard, regulated activity which require permission. This Prabha Kumar is asking me that tourism will not allow. Tourism will be allowed, but under permission. And there is a controlled tourism. Tourism will be controlled. Madam Prabha Kumari, read this sentence. Regulated activities, bracket, which require permission. And then I have written here hotel, restaurant, resort. You need the permission of the government. Then only the hotel, restaurant, resort and all will be there. Is it clear, Madam Kumari, Prabha Kumari? Did you understand that? Right? So again, that's where the government has the part of it. Clear? So this is a very, very important part which I have discussed in the classroom. All whatever topics I am covering in the classroom, they are very, very important for the exam. Alright, so now what I'll do here, tourism will affect the tribe. Prabha, you are saying that tourism, yes, if you are promoting tourism, but there may be some tribal population. Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Jharkhand, where the tourism you are promoting and there may be tribal population, there will be there. Andaman Nicobar, Jarawa. In Andaman Nicobar, Anshul has given that Jarawa tribe in Andaman Nicobar. And let's say the government makes changes and allow the tourism in that area, and then you have a Jarawa tribe and all these indigenous communities. So that can result into some social cultural conflict. Right? Prabha is asking a very good question. Prabha Kumari's question is very good. about the tribal population, about the local community, the indigenous tribe. Again, we have to see that how we are going to control that. See, theory is something else, practicality is something else. There is a difference between theory and practice, right? Again, it has to be controlled, it has to be regulated. All right. And in recent time, there have been a lot of controversies with respect to ESZ. When you read newspaper, the Hindu, Indian Express, you'll find there have been some issues in Goa, Kerala, right, even Maharashtra, right, number of states, Odisha, there have been some issues with respect to ESZ. Right? Good, Prabha. So, what I would like to add here, just look at here. Let me see if I'm taking one question here. Now tell me what is the answer here. Now give me the answer here. Which of following statement is correct? ESZs, eco-sensitive zones, are notified outside protected areas up to 10 kilometers only in urban areas. Right? 10 kilometers only in urban areas. Right? And number 2, conservation reserves are notified by the central government when local communities own and use the land. So A 1 only, B 2 only, C 1 and 2, D none. So what will be answer here? What shall be the answer? What shall be the answer here? This two statement question what I have given here, what shall be the answer here? The answer is here D. Answer is D. See, ESZ notified up to 10 kilometers only in urban areas. In urban areas, that is wrong. This is a wrong statement. It's a wrong statement. It can be anywhere. It can be rural areas also. Forest areas and all this also can be there. And only what is there? Right? And I said up to 10 kilometers, but not always there. Now this is also wrong. Second statement also wrong. Conservation reserves are those areas which are notified by the central government, that is state government, where local communities own and use the land. Local communities which own and use the land, that is a community reserve. We will learn in the classroom. That is a community reserve. Where the local people own the land and use the land, that is a community reserve, not the conservation reserve. The land ownership by the local people, local community, that is called community reserve. The second statement is also wrong. So the answer is D. So answer will be here D. None. Both the statements are wrong. Both the statements are wrong here. Right? Answer will be D for Delhi. Right? Both the statements are wrong. Now let's understand here. You all have copied the whiteboard? Have you all copied the whiteboard? Now what I'll do here, I will end the class with one topic there. Let me discuss one topic, then we'll go to the next part of it. But all have copied this one? Have you all copied it? Have you all copied it? Yes or no? All right. So let us now come to this part. Let me come across here. This conservation reserve and community reserve is a small area. Let us discuss that. See what happens here. I have already mentioned that under Wildlife Protection Amendment Act of 2002, right? Under this one, so we have this two area. One is called here conservation reserve. Please write this in your class notes. And second is a community reserve. Please copy this. It's a very small topic. Let me cover in the classroom. See what is this area, you will understand here. Let's say you have a national park or sanctuary. You have a protected area here. And you have another protected area. You have two protected areas, and let's say it can be a national park or sanctuary or a tiger reserve. It can be national park, sanctuary, tiger reserve, or any reserve forest, protected forest. It can be anything. And here there's a corridor. There's a wildlife corridor. Let's say tiger or elephant, they migrate, right? So this area outside the national park, sanctuary, or any protected forest, reserve forest, right? This area, right? This will be called as a conservation reserve or a community reserve based on a condition. What is the condition here? Conservation reserve is that here land is owned by central government. It is a central government land, not so state government has given it to the central government. Land is owned by central government, right? No human settlement. There are no human settlements there. And third is that local communities, local people use land for their livelihood. For their subsistence. The state government will notify conservation reserve if the land belongs to the central government. There is no human settlement, and local communities use land for their livelihood. They use this land for their livelihood, but there is no permanent settlements, right? Let's say, for example, I'll just give you example here. Recently in Punjab, Beas Conservation Reserve, Beas Conservation Reserve in Punjab near Kapurthala. It has been now notified as a Ramsar site. What is Ramsar site? Ramsar site is a wetland of international importance. I'm just giving one example. Beas River Conservation Reserve is near to the Kapurthala, and that has been declared as now Ramsar site, wetland of international importance. Now let's consider if this land is not central government land. Land is owned, right? Land is owned by local people, by private individuals, by private or local community there, by private individuals or local community. If the land belongs to local people, local community there. If the land belongs to the local community or private people, There is ownership of the land. Second, what comes here? Second thing is that here is that there permanent settlement. There are permanent human settlement there. The permanent human settlements, right, in this area, right, and it is used by the local people, right. Local communities own the land and use the land. Use land for their livelihood. Then it is declared by the state government as community reserve. Then it is called community reserve. Example, India's first community reserve was Keshopur Chamb, CHHAMB, Keshopur Myani, KESHOPUR, Keshopur Chamb or Keshopur Myani community reserve in Punjab. That is India's first community reserve. Now this is in Punjab. There is a place called as Gurdaspur in Punjab. Paji, Sunny Deol, Member of Parliament, Sunny Deol constituency, Gurdaspur in Punjab. Keshopur, KESHOPUR, Keshopur Chamb, CHHAMB, right, Chamb community reserve in Punjab. It is India's first community reserve. Now, this Keshopur Myani or Keshopur Chamb, Myani is the name of the community. The community which live there in Keshopur called as Myani. Keshopur Myani Community Reserve, India's first community reserve, has been now declared as Ramsar site. Now it is a new Ramsar site of Punjab. What is the Ramsar site? Under Ramsar Convention on Wetlands of international importance. Recently in Punjab, 3 new Ramsar sites were added. One is the Beas Conservation Reserve, Nangal Conservation Reserve, and Keshopur Myani Community Reserve. Punjab has got 6 Ramsar sites. I'll cover that, don't worry. What is a wetland? What is Ramsar Convention? What are Ramsar sites? We will discuss in the class. मैं हूं ना, I am there, and I am going to discuss that concept. Don't worry now. Just now, remember what is conservation reserve and how it differs from community reserve. I have just given examples there. What is Ramsar site, what is wetland and all I will be covering in future classes. But what is community reserve, what is conservation reserve, differences, that you have to first understand. So please write it down. I know that I am taking more time. आपके बैच में जो लोग टाइम पास करने लोग हैं ना, वो ऐसे ही चले जाएंगे. एंड जो इस सिंसियर बच्चे होंगे, द सिंसियर स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ योर बैच, दे विल स्टे एंड दे विल कैरी ऑन दिस पॉइंट, राइट. So it is a very important topic. That's what I have discussed right now. I know that it is already 8:30. It is now 8:30 by my watch. But still I have gone because so that you are able to understand. This is the last topic of today's class, right? So please copy down. Did you understand the difference? It's a very important concept. You could get question in the exam. I'll tell you, all the sincere students will always remain in the class and they will attend the class live. And those who are just for time pass people, they will slowly they will leave the class. But I want all sincere people in my class. And you all are sincere students. You all are very, very sincere students. Have you all copied it? You all are sincere students. Those who are till 8:30, I'm just trying to know who are the sincere people in your batch, who have the patience, who have a motivation to learn, right? Enthusiasm to learn, and you all are those. So for all of you, I'll clap for all of you that you are till 8:30 in the class. This shows your motivation. This shows your jazba, your motivation, your enthusiasm. Good, very good. I like those students who are really sincere students. Right? I appreciate them. And you all are there, that's really good. Right? So we will stop the class now. Right? I'll stop the class now. So next class, our topic will be protected forest, reserve forest. We'll go into those areas, and then we'll discuss biodiversity hotspot, mega diversity hotspots, international aspect on that. We'll go into those topics. I hope everything is clear at your end, and you are able to understand that, right? So whatever doubts you have, you should keep on sending to the batch coordinator. They will address your doubts, right? So I'm really very happy that you all are there in the classroom and you are attending the class. That's a big thing for a teacher like me. All right. And whatever topics I am teaching in the classroom, please go back, take out the Vision IS study material and read. Read after the class. Then you will be able to understand more better. All right. So I thank all of you. We will continue with the biodiversity topic in the next class. But let me give you the assignment question. Your assignment question is this one. Your assignment question is that discuss important conservation measures. Discuss important conservation measures to protect wildlife in India. Your assignment question, let me read the question. Discuss important conservation measures to protect wildlife in India. You have to answer in 150 words. You have to answer this question in 150 words. 150 to 200 words, 10 marks. What is the homework question here? Discuss important conservation measures to protect wildlife in India. Answer in 150 to 200 words, 10 marks. Right? I also thank the batch coordinators. From my bottom of my heart, I thank batch coordinators who are still up to this time and trying to take care of the class and all. And I thank everyone. I thank technical team also there, the people who are handling at the backside, and I thank all of you who are right now live in the class, right? So please do write the assignment question, and we'll continue with the biodiversity topic in the next class. All right. So stay safe, stay healthy, and be motivated. Be always motivated. Okay? So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you everyone, and good night. Thank you.